Hello everybody and welcome to the Fortress Comic News Comic Book Reading Club for July 2018. And this month we are discussing Marvel's 1602. So if you didn't know, this book collects Marvel's 1602 issues number 1 through 8 by Neil Gaiman with art by Andy Kubert. So 1602, what is it? So on and so forth. I want to jump in and say that I, although respect Neil Gaiman, have not read a whole lot of Neil Gaiman in my life. So part of wanting to do this was to read some more Neil Gaiman. And being a huge Marvel fan, I thought, why not start in Marvel 1602? I've heard a lot about it. I know it was a cool story, or I'm told it was a cool story. And I'm told it's one of those books every Marvel fan should read. So, bought it. We're doing the reading club. We're going to talk about it. Basically what we got here is a version of the Marvel Universe set in the year 1602. So we've got Nick Fury, who is the Queen's right hand, and Doctor Strange, who is the Queen's left hand in England. And those two have their own different abilities and what they do, and they're set out to find this weapon that's supposed to stop all these great storms that are going on the end of the earth and all this other stuff. Meanwhile, all of the usual cast characters show up. So you get a version of Captain America who we call Rohan, I get it, or Ronan. And we get Daredevil. Matt Murdock is a blind musician who goes place to place and sings for people about the Fantastic Four, and works for Nick Fury as a kind of secret agent-esque person. We get Black Widow, who's also a secret agent who works kind of for an unknown country, an unknown reason, but helps out Matt Murdock at one point. And then we have the X-Men, who aren't really the X-Men. They're called witch breeds because we don't know things about genes back then, so we connect it to a form of religious bigotry, I guess is the best way to put it. And we learn about them through Angel, who is about to be burned at the stake before he's saved by Scott and Beast and all these other X-Men. And then we learn of this other group who we end up finding out later in the book is Magneto and his two kids. Through all of this, the story can be very of its time. So if you don't like those old style stories, this might not be the book for you. I personally found it a little slow at times, but still kept me coming back for more. I did enjoy the art of it, and I thought the writing was fantastic. The writing is very dense, and like I said, of its time. It reads as pieces from its time. So most of my critiques, I guess, if that's something you don't enjoy, this isn't going to work for you. But for those of us that did enjoy it, let's talk about the story. So there's these storms coming. The Queen thinks that she needs to find this artifact in order to stop them. So she sends out Stephen Strange to go get it. Well, Stephen Strange is confronted by Nick Fury, who sends out Matt Murdock to go do it, who meets up with Black Widow to go do it. Meanwhile, there's this whole B story of how the church is treating the witch breeds, and how the King of Scotland is not a fan of the witch breeds and is getting ready to take over power of England. He does that through the eventual death of the Queen. Then the C story here is Doctor Doom, who is in Latveria and is another player in this, and his basic role is to kill the Queen of England. And he's also holding hostage 4 people. Who are they? I wonder. So through all that, we get to this point where everything kind of turns. And that point is when Doctor Doom sends this artifact to England to kill the Queen. The King of Scotland takes over, and Nick Fury decides that he needs to start some sort of revolt or go against the King's wishes. Because the King's wishes is to kill the witch breed or the X-Men. So Nick Fury goes there, confronts them, tells them, I don't want to kill you, I don't want to take you hostage, and the whole story kind of unwinds. This is when we meet the Watcher, and the Watcher realizes that somebody has come from the future back to the past and has created these events. These events should not have happened for another couple of centuries. So that's why all these same players are occurring in this time frame, but not exactly the same way they're supposed to. So who is this person? We don't know. So as things go on, the Fantastic Four are freed from their prison and meet up with the Witchbreed X-Men and these other characters, these S.H.I.E.L.D. characters, as well as Rojas and this little girl that he is sent to protect. As that continues, we find out that Rojas is the being that was sent from the future to the past and has changed the events. Rojas is Steve Rogers' Captain America from regular Marvel continuity, except hundreds of years in the future. We find out that the super soldier serum keeps him young and alive, and while everybody else withers away, he continues to fight the good fight, and one of his greatest enemies sends him back in time as a way to hurt them or something. And through that, Steve Rogers meets with the natives and kind of starts all these events. He's the one that helps the Pilgrims. He's the one that protects this little girl who can transform into different beings. And he's kind of the impotence of everything going on. The Watchers are not happy about this because they know that because of this, the universe is going to be destroyed. So we need to send Steve back into the future. So, all this book is a lot to take in. I will say, it is not my favorite thing I've ever read. I personally would not put it on a must-read for Marvel fans. I say it's one of those books that, if you're interested in the storyline, you're interested in the time frame, check it out. The art is fantastic. Neil Gaiman definitely knows how to write. I'm not putting him down for that. I just think that this is a unique story for the Marvel universe, or any universe for that matter. This would be super unique in DC as well. So I give him props for that. It just didn't connect with me all that well until about the last two issues, when you started to talk about Captain America and Rojas being Captain America and coming back from the past. Then the light bulb clicked and I was like, ooh, I like Captain America. So for me, not the best book we've read in the Comic Book Reading Club, but I did enjoy it, and I would say that it is worth reading if you have gone through probably a list of many other books that I would recommend above this. So, let's talk about next month. Next month's Reading Club, I'm going to try once again something like this. I made this decision before finishing 1602, but I want to stick with it because it goes with news of recent. I had for years not wanted to read the Umbrella Chronicles because of the writer. I was not a fan of the writer's previous work and this and that, and kind of stubbornness left me from reading this. I've been told multiple times that I should, and it's an amazing book, and I should check it out. So, that's what we're doing. We're doing the Umbrella Chronicles by Gerald Way from My Chemical Romance. I'm sorry, I forget who the artist is in that book. If you didn't know, this was just announced that there's going to be a sequel to it from Dark Horse, and months ago it was announced that Netflix picked it up for a series. So let's be on top of it. Let's see it. Let's read it before it becomes a Netflix series and everybody's a big fan. Let's be the hipsters we want to be. But at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a really good book, and I'm willing to try out anything. So let's try it out. If you need a way to try it out, I am personally going to be doing it through Comixology Unlimited. They have it on there for free. Borrow it, do your thing, and it's cool. So everybody, thanks for watching. Remember, if you're enjoying what we're doing here at Forge Comic News, to hit that subscribe button as well as the bell button next to the subscribe button to keep up to date with every video we post here at Forge Comic News. And I want to hear down from you. What did you think of 1602? What are your thoughts on 1602? And what are your thoughts on next month's book? And all that. And if you want to get in on the conversation and have a week-to-week, day-to-day conversation, Remember to go over to patreon.com/ForgeComicNews, where only $1 gets you into the Slack channel, and you can be in on the channel where we talk about the Reading Club Book of the Month. It's a cool way to stay in contact with all the fans and for everybody to kind of have a conversation together about the book we're reading together before the video comes out. And as always, here at Forge Comic News, remember to keep on reading those comics.